NSC Fan TV, Drew here with Scott. Long form discussion about the 1-1 draw with Philly Union from Sunday.
Yeah, and a big day at Geodis Park.
A huge day. I mean,
or Geodis.
I was gonna say
Geodis.
it's French. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I think it was supposed to be soft G, but given the root, which is a Greek root,
so you
hard
think
G.
Yeah.
But
Emma pronounced it correctly, I think. Didn't he? I think he was the only one in the video. But anyhow,
so let's talk before we talk about the game, before we talk about prospects for next week. Let's just talk about that park.
Let's just talk about the park. I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
It took me a bit to warm up to the feeling of vertigo because we're in the deck.
Yeah.
But we have great seats sitting right at the midline.
Yeah, I really like our seats.
And honestly, you can see everything that goes on at every corner. And I'm very happy with the entire park. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a bad seat there either.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a bad seat in the house. We've got particularly good ones. But I will say that the vertigo feeling was unsettling. And so, again, I don't like complaining about stuff, but that one was one that stuck with me. And given the fact that there was an accident just down the row from us, did not settle me.
I think that's right. I have worried about that for myself, considering that, especially the later the game is, the more drinks I'm probably going to have. So,
right.
I mean, it's
a lot of standing up and sitting down. Exciting stuff happens.
People jumping up and down. There's not a whole lot of room between, like, where your feet are when you first get up.
Yeah.
And they're in front of you. And it's nice to have that buffer of people in front of you. But had that been like a different game with less people, I'm worried about what could have happened.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
yeah, like, thank goodness he was falling into people. It's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
But so my anxiety. So there was the sort of the feeling of vertigo, and then there was the anxiety on the other side of feeling the vertigo.
Yeah.
And you can kind of talk yourself out of the anxiety. It's in the same way that you can be like, this feels kind of oogie, but that's an irrational fear. But then seeing this fellow take this header is like got a little bit of a counter evidence to that.
I was like, well, now it's not I mean, it was the first day too.
Pretty well founded. And
I have a feeling, given how many people there were, that wasn't the only person who fell. I mean,
so I mean, we complain, and that drawback is something that is the payment for how close we are to the pitch.
I think that's right, because being higher up, you're still close. I mean, you've got to climb those stairs too, which can be tough. I mean, those will wind you. I mean, I think you noticed this with me, but I had a hard time immediately appreciating, at least like outwardly, the seating arrangement, just because I had that intense feeling of vertigo where I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm gonna fall into it. Yeah.
Right. So we'll grow into this. We'll get used to it. There was an accident that happened probably because of the fact that we weren't the only ones who were feeling unsettled by it. We'll grow into it. We'll get used to it, and folks will find ways to manage that. But aside from that one incident, everything was great. It was really crowded.
It was very crowded.
You had a 10-minute wait to buy a $20 beer.
Yeah, and I unfortunately I missed a lot of the second half because I resolved to stay in a line. I missed like a good 10-minute chunk. I mean, I could see it on the TV, which was helpful. So
I invested the time. You said, I'm going to get this popcorn.
I'm going to get this.
I waited in this line for this long. I might as well just keep going.
I almost got out of it, but I think as time goes on, I'm sure they'll add more vendors, so more efficient,
I think that there were two things, right? It was the number of vendors and the sort of pop-up vendor phenomenon. The second thing was that with the pop-up vendor phenomenon and how deep the lines were getting, it made it harder for people to pass between places.
Because the lines had became honestly to the point where this is expert arrangement. Human management is reaching a new height, honestly. But the lines kind of going almost like a snake from that one game, right? Where it's like they crisscross and they don't just extend out.
So that's good, but whenever they get out past that, then they start.
Now it's a problem.
Now it's a problem.
So it's good up until you've got double the amount that will fit in the.
That's right.
In the rows, and now you've got people just in the middle.
And so so we had the Mexican street food, and that line did the snake. Mm-hmm. And then out into the concourse,
and that was when it became
that became a problem. Hey, you know what? These are small things to complain about. now let's complain about some soccer.
Let's complain about some soccer.
So let's start about the thing that is sticking with me.
Okay.
Their goal, Ure's goal. There were two things that created that goal, and it frustrated me. The first thing that created that goal was just a sort of a bit of miscommunication and some sloppy turnovers on offense. Mm-hmm. And so we had the ball coming up on the left. I think it was a ball from Lovitz. Mukhtar mishandled it, tried to drop it to Davis, and all three of those folks had sort of crashed that.
Yep.
Was it their right back? Was it Wagner who cleared it up?
I think it was Wagner. Yeah, I think it was Wagner.
But he had great vision, and so good on him. But he had a perfect outlet, and it looked like Mayer and McCarty had both moved forward on the right, and so it left a big space over on the right side, on our right side, their left. And that ball came perfectly to Ure.
And it was pretty much a solo goal at that point, too, for him.
Yeah.
I mean, in Zimmerman, I can't really even fault him for that, like, when it came down to it.
So I think I think that this is a communication. So there were some communication issues. So I guess the thought is that if we are going to be rotating up on the right, Zimmerman needs to be able to cover more ground.
I figured that was your second complaint.
That's my second complaint.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I think you're probably right about that with Zimmerman, but I don't know. I mean,
so yeah, hanging this on anybody, I think that's in some ways a sort of a series of small mistakes that
the turnover
together
on going forward, and then Zimmerman not covering the kind of ground he would have needed to for the arrangement we have.
Right.
And there's almost an argument to say like this is one of the drawbacks of the 3-5-2, which feels to me almost more like, if I'm being honest, if we can take a little detour, it feels more like a 3-4-2-1 to me, with the two being they drop forward and back to turn it into 3-5-2.
I agree.
And with the person going forward being Mukhtar, maybe Leal was doing a bit more of that, and Sapong is 11 point man, and then Leal dropping back a little bit. Because I feel like defensively, he's been a great asset.
That's right. Certainly at the end, Leal was dropping back into the midfield.
Yeah.
And McCarty, one of McCarty's and Godoy's strengths is that they can drop back, and we can send one of our backs forward, and McCarty can kind of drop in there. He's got that experience. He's got that.
Yeah.
And it looked like that either that didn't happen or that wasn't the plan.
You're right about McCarty though, having to kind of like scramble in that situation, and Davis like kind of fumbling the bag there on the turnover. I don't know, because typically I think McCarty's just on it. And maybe in that instance he just wasn't. I mean,
so I can't quite be able to. I wasn't able to reverse engineer from watching that in situ. Was that a sort of a case where we needed a midfielder to draw back and for us to continue with the three, or was it a case where we rotated our right back up and they were going to play with the two whenever we were going to be pushing forward like that? Yeah. So I'm not able to reverse engineer that. But whatever it was, we needed someone covering on the right. It looked like we didn't have quite that coverage. The turnover happened quickly, and we got pounced on. So that happens.
And the thing is, I mean, just to add to the whole situation, it's against Philly, which is something we mentioned in interviews of the night of. And I think they have our number when it comes to situations like that, finding us out of position, whether it be a set piece or during open play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, typically with the 4-4-2, I don't think you catch us out as much in open play.
Yeah.
But with the
with that three in the
set
back
pieces, it's more common. But in the three in the back, it's gonna happen. I mean.
Yeah, well, heart and mouth moment, given the fact that here we were in the sort of the 93rd minute with them with a corner kick.
I thought, oh shit, it's a set piece. Were we ready?
Were we ready? We were. Turns out we were.
Turns out we actually were. Yeah.
Hey, oh man. But yeah, that was.
Speaking of set pieces, though, I guess to transition.
Yeah.
I think we had a ton of corners. Some of them I think weren't awarded,
right?
But we did make the most of them.
Yeah.
We did not make the most of them. I think Mukhtar was honestly a bit sloppy on the corners.
Yeah, I think that there were a lot of low skipping balls coming off. So a lot of corners just got wasted. There was one corner that did yield a real chance with Muil on the backside. And,
that's right. He was on.
He pounced on that ball that kind of skipped over the top of everyone, and it looked like everyone had sort of come to chase the ball on the front side. Ball skips over and Muil's by himself.
Right where he needs to be. And Blake had to make a save there.
And he made a heck of a save. He made a heck of a save. And so, that was a legit chance. And so between that chance, wheel off the crossbar around like 10.
And then you had Lovitz with the right.
Yeah, Lovitz. Yeah, on frame with a right foot.
With the right foot. Yeah, it was on frame with the right. I saw it and I was like,
that right foot's good for standing on, I thought, but
yeah, it's good for shooting too.
Apparently so.
Look, man, Lovitz is adding, if he keeps up with the right foot playing, that's a whole new dimension. That's
exactly.
being,
don't know how to defend that. We'll just play with both feet.
Play with both feet. Yeah,
and don't forget McCarty's poster around like 4 or 5 minutes in.
That's right.
That was the first really great chance that kind of bounced out.
It bounced out, but it bounced down.
Yeah.
That was exciting though. That was was that the first chance at Geodis Park? I think. Yeah. That was amazing. I mean, it just seemed like it came down to, all right, it's not luck or chance. But it seemed like it came down to luck or chance that it just happened to bounce right out. So small differences make a huge difference. And they had some chances. They had one that Willis saved early on that was called back for an offside. And they had a number of times where where we had some scrambles with their corner kicks. So the good news is that a top flight MLS team came to Geodis Park, and we bounced back. We gave them a goal. Yep.
We had a mistake, and they did what we expected them. They did what good teams do whenever there's a sort of a string of small mistakes, is that they punish us, and that happens. But we bounced back.
We bounced back, and I think, it's Gary Smith-Ball. We were playing for the draw. Anunga coming on. Like that, I was like, well, now we're playing for the draw, and that's completely fine, and I was happy about it. But I think we got the situation, buried the penalty, Leal did, and
buried the pen, and but it did look like in that last minute, it looked like whenever we had the outlet after their corner, we were pressing. There were 6 people. Yeah. There were 6 people in the box while Brian Anunga was corralled on the touch line there at 94. Really wish that he had been able to sort of just somehow just be able to get a toe on that ball and loop it in. But whoever that left midfielder, left back of theirs, kind of corralled, that was a heroic effort to just be able to be like, look, this is a team that's feeling it, and all they need to do is get a toe on the ball and get in there, and he stifled that. So good on him. Really wish that Anunga had been able to play that back in. But hey,
that would have been.
What an amazing win that would have been.
That would have been insane.
All right, so you want to do we were going to do some player ratings.
Let's do some player ratings. I think it's in order.
Okay. So, let's start at the back. Willis.
10.
10.
10.
10. 10. Some great saves. Some very good saves.
I'm going with 10. I think great saves. Okay. I think he was on it.
Okay.
I think he was on it like he normally is.
Okay. Romney. Lots of clearances,
but I don't know. I'll go with 6.
Okay.
I'll go with 6. The reason being, I'm not sure he was always where he needs to be in the back.
Okay.
Good clearances, but that doesn't make up for being in the wrong place positionally.
Okay.
So I think.
Okay.
6.
Zimmerman.
That's a tough one. I was just giving him praise. I noticed that he wasn't where he needed to be as usual
for that goal.
Going forward.
Oh well.
For the goal, but also even going forward when he needed to be in the back, he was having to hustle back. So
there were a couple times where I was kind of holding my breath, watching him hustle back. It was like, hey, he kind of hung around in the front a little longer.
I think with the 4, it's more reasonable, but with the 3, it's tougher. I'm gonna go 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 5.
Jack Mayer. The Milkman.
The Milkman. Oh man. I want to say 7 or 8.
Okay, 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
7 or 8. Lovitz.
Above a 7 for sure. Just not sure if it's a 9. I think Lovitz had really positive play.
Yeah.
A shot on target, on frame. And I thought he did really well there on the left. Let's go 9.
Okay.
Let's go 9. I liked Lovett's play.
Dax McCarty, captain.
I think calming down. Leal, after he had the 2 through balls that absolutely failed, was an excellent display.
That's
captaincy.
Yeah.
And I think I gotta say 10 for him.
All right.
I think I don't blame him for that situation that we couldn't reverse engineer.
Yeah.
About the little scramble after Mukhtar fumbled the bag. I think a 10. I think that was an excellent display of captaincy, and I didn't see him hurt the range of play at all. I think he was where he needed to be for the most part.
Yeah, I think that he was regularly stopping on Bedoya, which I think is a really
Bedoya did not silenced,
have.
Yeah.
He did not have Bedoya did not have a good game, and I think that was in large part because of what we did. Sean Davis.
That was some scrappy play by him.
He would be a 10. Like if I was going to give a 10, he's my 10.
You really?
Yeah.
I was thinking, okay, let's go with your 10.
Okay.
Let's go with your 10.
All right. I'm not trying to put a thumb on your scale.
No. I think yeah. I think he was where he needs to be. I think him and McCarty are a great duo. In the middle, defensively, but also transition wise. I think they're spot on.
I'm loving all the choices that we have at central midfield.
Yeah. So are we gonna do Anunga?
Oh yeah. Well, let's. So Loba came on for Davis at 73. So Loba's game. So we're go with the player that slot. So that slot got filled by Loba at 73.
Should I do Loba?
Yeah, let's do Loba. So we got 20 minutes of we saw 20 minutes of Ake Loba yesterday, and there were opinions expressed yesterday, or not yesterday, but Sunday. So what do you think of Loba's play?
He did have one really positive moment in the middle where he got the ball to Mukhtar, and there was a bit of a scramble. Overall, I think we weren't seeing any hustle, but I think we're probably used to that. I say, I'll give him a 5.
Okay,
I'll give him a 5.
It's his shank in front of the goal. At about 90 or about 90, 91 or something like that.
That puts him above for you?
No, it puts him lower.
Oh, okay.
I mean that makes me say 5'6".
Oh, the shank. Oh, the shank. Oh, yeah.
So he had a great touch to the middle, and Mukhtar and Sapong were there, and it was a perfectly placed ball,
and he just
and their defense was able to collapse. But then
he just went for it, and then I remember that.
And so
never mind. You know what? I'm rescinding
he's coming in now as a striker. He needs to strike the ball.
Taking off the 5, 3. That's a
down
2.
That's very
negative. 3. You know what? 3.
One shank, one good pass, and a couple good bits of hold up play.
And some back
that's a 5. That's a 5 for me. Okay. 5, maybe 6.
6. Okay.
Muil on the right wing now.
9.
I think that he had a great game.
I think he had a great game, and I was happy with his hustle as usual.
Sapong.
I almost want to say I can't fault him too much for not being on the tail end of more chances. The reason why is because he's usually good on corners, and I don't think Mukhtar had a...
So he didn't have a lot of touches.
No.
I don't think I saw a lot from him.
But he never gave the ball away, though. That's the thing. But
I think
never really got the ball. But if he didn't give it away.
But one of the things that he does that's part of his game is that he harasses defenses.
That's where I was going next.
And he created 2 chances just out of his harassment, where he just made them make stupid passes or made them mishandle something, and then make a pass, so that the defense was able to crash where the ball was going.
And he didn't come off either.
He played the full 90.
You know what? Yeah. He didn't come off. He did great. He was a harasser. I can't fault him on not being on tail end of more chances, because I don't think Mukhtar helped create them. So I'm going to go with 10.
Okay.
I'm going to go with he had a great game.
Okay. Randall Leal.
Probably a 6 or 7.
Okay.
I think that...
Don't forget the fact that he made the pen.
Oh, shit.
Don't forget fact that he made that pen.
He made the pen.
He made the pen.
7 or 8. 7 or 8.
Okay.
The reason why is because... I think that the yellow that he got after those
it's really unnecessary.
Frustrating, through balls that he was trying to thread the needle and he just failed twice. Then he got mad about it. And I think for me that drops him down to at the highest an 8. That pen was great.
The pen was great.
Blake
guessed right on it.
Blake guessed the right direction, left, but L'Oreal had just put it right where he needed to. I mean, that takes a lot of skill. So especially under that much pressure.
And that pressure, yeah.
You know what? I'm going 8.
Okay.
I will forgive the through balls and the anger and the angry yellow.
The angry yellow.
That pen was an excellent display of skill.
The overambitious through balls. Overambitious.
Well, first it was
2.
It was frustration after 2 overambitious through balls, and then getting the yellow. So you know what? It's not. I'm going 7. I'm nailing it down. 7. I'm going with 7.
All right. So the man who scored the first goal at Geodis Park, you want to get a 7.
Yeah,
okay.
You know?
All right. All right. You're looking holistically here.
Yeah, I think I've got to look holistically.
Okay.
I forgot about the situation with Sapong, and I forgot about the Loba, just shanking it. But
okay.
I'm remembering now.
So Leal came off for Anunga at 85. So we got about 9 minutes from Brian Anunga.
I think he didn't contribute to anything negatively.
Yeah,
I think he had positive contributions.
He had a couple tackles,
overall.
and again, I have that frustration with him holding the ball so awkwardly in the 94th. That's the only place where I'd be like, look, I mean, he did the Brian Anunga thing. He comes on, he comes on, and he hustles, and he goes after.
Supposed to just run,
He's supposed to go after, right? He's supposed to go after folks, and so he did the thing that he usually does. And then he got the ball, and he did the thing that he usually does, which is be awkward with it.
So you know what? I think I'll say 6. I think to keep the scout consistent, I can't put him above Leal.
I think that's.
We didn't see much time, so I think it's 6.
Okay, and then our last one to grade is our 10.
Mukhtar.
Hani Mukhtar.
So I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he had a great game.
Honest,
I don't think he had a good game.
3 or 4.
Yeah, I don't think he had a good game. He had a below average Hani Mukhtar game.
That's what I'm saying, and I think there's something to be said about how much we relied on him last season, but there's also something to be said about how his hold-up play wasn't patient. There's something to be said about how him fumbling the situation that led to Zimmerman not being able to get back into place in Uri's goal. I think I've got to go with 3.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm going with a 3.
I'm okay with that. I mean, given what we need from him, and given how much the offense runs through him, and given the fact that he took all the corners, and I don't think any of those corners were good.
I think a 3.
So disappointing. This is not to say that. I mean, I might say a little bit better than average, or better than 3. But I'm with you on the fact that he did not have the game that we needed.
He didn't contribute positively to the game. I mean, he was drawing defenders. I think that's good, and I think that there was that chance with and he was where he needed to be. He just kind of, and I can't fault him for this, he didn't get it on target. But where Loba, just a little quick pass into the middle where he just needed to have, I think, his right on it.
Needed to be on for that. And I mean, in his defense, there were 3 or 4 times that I saw him lose the ball, but it was because of the fact that the entire defense jumped.
It's because that's what I was saying. He drew defenders, so I have to give him that.
So there's something to his game that even if he's not beating the folks that he needs to beat, it's partly because of the fact that they play such tight team defense on him. And we were talking about this earlier, where it's like, look, it's frustrating to watch him nose down dribble against 3 defenders or 4 defenders. But what happens with that is that if he does that on regular occasion and beats 2 or 3 of them,
it draws enough people, and if he can beat somebody and get the ball out, if there's a good outlet,
the defense
is already all on one side, and then he can.
And
I think I gotta say, he drew defenders, which is, I think,
create
positive
space.
aspect.
But the problem is that space didn't get used because, again, the thought would be that if he did what he did and then they did what they did, we should be able to see someone like Sapong or Leal get some balls out and be able to have the touches that they need to be.
I don't think he was as patient as he needed to be in those situations, though.
Okay.
I think in losing the ball or in trying to get past people when he should have just looked around. I gotta say 3 is my final.
Okay, 3 is the final judgment. Okay, so I've got the missed chance at the end. So let's talk about the upcoming game, RSL game.
The 8th.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So first off, RSL is just coming off of a win against the Galaxy at home. They beat the Galaxy at Rio Tinto.
That's right. And we could not beat them.
And we did not beat them at Rio Tinto. We couldn't beat the Galaxy. And so
Yeah.
The other part is that they scored against the Galaxy off a corner.
It was off a corner.
Shaking in my boots.
That I didn't look at. Okay.
And but a cool thing, and I think that maybe we had mentioned this last time we talked about the RSL game. The RSL game has got a sort of a really touching reunion for it because Gary Smith won the MLS Cup at Colorado Rapids, and Pablo Mastroeni was the captain of that team.
That's right. That's right.
And that's just such a touching coming together. But there's one more player that was part of that championship game, but he was on the opposing team, was Dax McCarty, playing for Dallas in that championship game. So that's just sort of a nice, I can imagine that's just a nice kind of coming together.
Yeah, of many converging points. Yeah.
But you know, the thing that I'm worried about with them coming to Nashville is that their 7 Wood is such a shark and such a fantastic player. I have all sorts of concerns about him with us, and so want to see someone lock him down. But he plays in a spot where the lockdown player is going to have to be playing in the 6 role.
Yeah, it's going to have to be. It's going to have to be McCarty, or it's going to have to be. It could be Anunga.
Maybe Godoy.
Davis.
I think Godoy could play lockdown.
He probably.
Godoy might. I mean, my concern with Godoy playing lockdown is that he's a very, very physical player, and he will collect up. He'll collect up yellows, and then we'll have to rotate him off. But
yeah, Wood, you're right about that. Wood's a huge threat.
He's such a high quality player.
Yeah, and he's tough to lock down too because I think he's really field aware.
Yeah,
and I'm worried about that. So I think it might have to be Dax locking him down. I don't.
Does McCarty have the speed to be able to do that? I just don't. It's like that's one of our.
No, he doesn't.
I think that
he doesn't.
I think that the only person the person who's got the speed to be able to do it might be Anunga, might be Wheel, but I don't know if Wheel's he's got the defensive
acumen. But I also don't think he should be there. I think that he needs to be running down the wing. We need to be
Wheel doing his thing.
If we're running with the, I think of it as 3-4-2-1, but the 3-5-2. If we're running with the 3-5-2, I think we need the wings to be. I think Lovitz and Will needs to be down those wings. I'm not saying they don't need to come back and defend, but their primary role is going to be making chances and stretching the defense wide.
I'll tell you, I felt like those wings had so many great chances, especially on the left, because Philly was playing so narrow.
And
just in terms of just being able to move the ball up the field, having folks with their heels on that chalk line made so much of a difference in terms of being able to spread them out a little bit. So I think that you're right. I think that
it helps with keeping the midfield not clogged too, because we had complained about that with the 3-5-2 that we had been seeing, where it got cloggy.
It just got cloggy,
like
for us and for for us and for them. But
it narrowed play and got cloggy, and I think that we need to stretch it out. I mean,
and maybe you know what? Maybe we played that way because of the fact that, especially if we were playing at Titan Stadium, that was a really narrow field.
And if
and
there were lines already on the pitch, then it artificially narrowed the game. Now we don't have to worry about that.
That's not going to happen.
Thank goodness.
That's not going to happen in that field. All right. Well, I think that's all I needed to say. We pretty happy with where we're at.
I'm happy where we're at. I mean, at this point in the season, with a really long, away stretch, and then all that traveling to being back home for most of our games now.
It's going to be great. So many good home games. And we've got, on the other side of the RSL game, we've got a cup game.
The 11th.
On the 11th
against Atlanta.
Against hated Atlanta.
Get your tickets.
Yeah, that's right. So, got to make sure to get the tickets for that. And so they should be releasing.
They're relatively affordable, too.
Okay.
They're very cheap, if you ask me.
Okay.
The 11th, guys, show out.
Okay. All right, Drew, I think we're good.
Take down the 5 stripes.
Take down those 5 stripes. Not looking past RSL, though.
Nope. No, that's going to be...
look past them.
Look, Wood is a big threat, so...
He's such a good player.
Yeah.
All right.